Tried an experimental sleep study for $500 a night. I think they stole something from my dreams. The flyer seemed too good to be true. Participants needed. Sleep study paying $500 per night. No prior medical conditions required. Must be 25 to 40 years old and able to sleep in our facility for 5 consecutive nights. I was 3 months behind on rent, my car needed repairs I couldn't afford, and my credit cards were maxed out. 5 nights of sleep for $2,500? I would have signed up even if they'd asked me to sleep hanging upside down like a bat. Neura Sleep Research Institute was located in a sleek glass building on the outskirts of the city. When I arrived for my screening appointment, a receptionist with a perfect smile handed me a stack of forms. Standard liability waivers, medical questionnaires, and a non-disclosure agreement that I barely skimmed before signing. Dr. Eliza Chen, the lead researcher, was surprisingly young, mid-30s with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. She explained that they were testing a new technology to monitor and enhance dream states. We're exploring the cognitive benefits of directed dreaming, she said. Our non-invasive technology simply records your brain activity while playing subliminal audio designed to guide your dreams towards specific themes. And all I have to do is sleep? I asked. Exactly. We'll wake you each morning to complete a dream journal and cognitive assessment. Otherwise, your only job is to sleep normally. I should have asked more questions. I should have wondered why they were paying so much. But I was already imagining what I could do with $2,500. The night I checked in, a technician named Marcus attached a web of electrodes to my scalp and temples. He placed what looked like a high-tech headband over them. This is our proprietary Neura cap, he explained. It records your brain waves and transmits the data to our systems. The small speakers near your ears will play barely audible sounds during REM sleep to gently guide your dream content. The private room was more comfortable than my apartment. Plush mattress, perfect temperature, blackout curtains. I fell asleep almost instantly. That first night, I dreamed of my childhood home. I was standing in the backyard, looking at the treehouse my father built before he left us. It felt more vivid than any dream I'd ever had. I could smell the pine needles, feel the rough bark under my fingers. When I climbed inside, I found a small wooden box I'd forgotten about, a treasure box where I'd kept my most precious possessions as a child. I woke feeling strangely nostalgic, with the dream still crystal clear in my mind, unusual for me, as I typically forgot my dreams within minutes of waking. Dr. Chen seemed particularly interested when I described the treasure box during our morning session. Can you recall what was inside it? She asked, leaning forward slightly. I tried to remember, but the contents were hazy. I think. Maybe a baseball card? Something my dad gave me? It's odd, I can picture the box perfectly, but not what was in it. She nodded and made a note. The mind often fills in certain details while leaving others blank. It's perfectly normal. The second night, I dreamed of high school, specifically, my first girlfriend, Melissa. We were sitting in my old car, parked at the lookout point above town. The dream was so detailed I could see the small scar above her eyebrow, smell her strawberry lip gloss. She handed me something, but when I looked down at my hand, I couldn't see what it was. Just a blur where an object should be. I woke up feeling a strange emptiness, like I'd lost something I couldn't identify. During the morning session, Dr. Chen again asked pointed questions about the blurred object. Interesting that your mind created a visual anomaly there. Did you feel anything when you held this? Blank space? It felt important, I said. Like it was something valuable to me. Each night followed a similar pattern. Incredibly vivid dreams of significant moments in my life, my college graduation, my grandmother's funeral, the day I moved to the city. And in each dream, there was something just out of focus, something I couldn't quite grasp or see clearly. By the fourth morning, I felt increasingly uneasy. The dreams were beautiful but left me feeling hollow, like something was being extracted. When I mentioned this to Dr. Chen, she assured me it was a common side effect of enhanced dreaming. Your brain is processing memories more deeply than usual, she explained. That can sometimes create a temporary feeling of emotional displacement. That night, I struggled to fall asleep. When I finally did, I dreamed I was in a white room with no windows or doors. In the center stood a glass display case. Inside the case were objects I recognized, the treasure box from my childhood, a mixtape Melissa had made me, my grandmother's antique locket, the key to my first apartment. But there were other things I didn't recognize, or rather, I recognized them but couldn't remember what they were or why they mattered. A book with a title blurred out. A photograph where the faces were smudged. A piece of jewelry that seemed to shift forms when I tried to focus on it. A voice came from nowhere and everywhere. Thank you for your contribution. I jolted awake in a cold sweat. The room was dark except for a soft blue light emanating from the Neura cap beside my bed, not on my head where it should have been. I distinctly remember going to sleep wearing it. Disoriented, I got up and opened my door. The hallway was dimly lit. It was 3:17 a.m. according to my phone. I should have gone back to bed, but instead, I found myself walking toward the research lab I'd seen during my orientation tour. The lab door was unlocked. Inside, multiple screens displayed what looked like brain scans, data streams, and, most disturbingly, images. Fragments of dreams. My dreams. The treehouse. Melissa's car. My grandmother's funeral. And there, on the central monitor, was a 3D rendering of what looked like a glowing neural network with certain nodes highlighted and labeled. One label caught my eye: First Love, Melissa Hughes, memory extraction complete. My heart pounded as I navigated through the files. There were dozens of them, each labeled with participants' names and memory categories. First achievement. Greatest loss. Peak happiness. My name appeared in a folder labeled Emotional Anchor Memories, extraction in progress. I heard footsteps in the hallway. Quickly, I took photos of the screens with my phone and slipped back to my room, pretending to sleep when a technician checked on me minutes later. The next morning, I forced myself to act normal during the final assessment. Dr. Chen seemed pleased with my progress, noting that my contribution was particularly robust. "What exactly are you taking from us?" I asked as casually as I could. Her smile never wavered. "Taking? We're not taking anything. We're simply mapping how emotional memories form neural pathways." I nodded, pretending to accept her explanation. That night, after receiving my payment, I researched NeuroSleep. The company was a subsidiary of a defense contractor with ties to experimental psychological research. Their patent applications mentioned memory extraction and emotional imprinting technology. It's been 3 weeks since the study. I have the money, but something's missing. I can recall facts about my life, but certain memories feel hollow. I remember that I loved Melissa, but I can't recall how it felt. I know my grandmother's funeral was sad, but the grief feels distant, academic. I've tried reaching out to other participants I found online. Some report similar experiences. Others don't respond at all, as if they've forgotten they ever participated. I'm posting this as a warning. If you see their flyer, keep walking. No amount of money is worth what they take from you. Pieces of yourself you'll never get back. Memories aren't just data to be harvested, they're what make us who we are. And I'm increasingly certain that I'm now less of who I was, in ways I can no longer even remember.